Right, so what Spirit wants you to know today? Okay, so Spirit wants you to know that the angels look after you, okay? And you're also, that part of your spiritual journey is to recognize energy that competes with you and to let it go. And we've also got a let go card here also from a different deck. I think you've been doing this, and whilst you've been doing this, you know, sort of shedding these energies, that don't mean you well, essentially. It might not be, you know, it might not be malicious, you know, that it's just the sort of level of security they're working with, but nevertheless it was sort of getting in the way of you becoming very psychic. So I think I'm dealing, and if psychic doesn't sort of chime for you, intuitive, listening to your guidance and angels, or you know, you've got a fully fledged skill there. What was happening is that you're around energies that somehow, or some reason, and I'm being led to friendships here because I've pulled 3 cards from different decks, and it says your friends care not as spiritual as you, and friendship came. I pulled that from another deck. It was actually in another deck of cards, but it fell out, so of course I've taken it. And we've got frenemy here also, so I do feel like it could be friends, given there's so many, but it doesn't have to be. It could be work colleagues, bosses, family, community. Just put it where it fits. But these people thought you were soft, okay? And I think it's because you have probably quite a soft nature. You've got, you know, you're caring. I've got sacrifice card here. You're sacrificial. The sort of shirt off your back type energy, okay? And standing your ground wasn't your natural disposition. I'm actually, when I say that, I can feel that that's not entirely true. In some situations you really do find that effortless, but maybe when you're in situations where you actually care about people or love them, you're not as quick to stand your ground. You sort of let things unfold, but that it was part of your spiritual journey to also stand your ground when it comes to people that you love. You know, loving is being firm too. Perhaps you've sort of felt like to show love is to allow, even if it's at the expense of yourself or it creates some kind of self-abandonment. But that's changing, and now that's changing. You're tapping more into your spirity, more into your possibly a gift set, a skill set that you've got in the spiritual realm. Spirit's saying that they're sending you feathers, so you might be coming across feathers in your path, like in strange places that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Or if you do, you know, like if it was a park, for instance, and yeah, you know, might see feathers. There's an abundant amount for what ordinarily would be there. You know, that's your spirit team. You do have some nice cards here, okay? So you've got high vibrational. You're stepping into more confidence than you have in years, and that's because it was part of your spiritual journey to recognize who doesn't belong in your energy. I know I keep doing this, but I do like to say it doesn't mean you're better than them. I don't think I'm tapping into anyone like that, but the fact that I feel to say it very often, I feel like that there could be some people that have that kind of narrative, and you can do that if you like, but I do think it sort of, it blunts, or yeah, it stops evolvement. You only grow so far with that kind of thinking. But yes, so essentially you can't have people around you that would be more than willing to sort of take advantage of the fact that they thought that you were soft and kind and understanding, and, you know, use that to their advantage. That's not the energy you want around you. And now, you were always high vibrational, by the way, but because you had this energy around you, I'm seeing an image of mud, like walking through, like, you know, sloppy mud. So it was harder to move around in the spiritual realm because you had this energy around you. And again, this is just metaphor, it's analogy. It's just to explain frequency. These people weren't your frequency, and now you're letting them go. And in fact, your light triggered them, and it's the light that you have from your spirit team, your angels, that was actually triggering them. And triggering them is to grow, but instead they used it to feel better than you, you know, sort of exercise their own stuff inside, and use you as that tool, and that's not happening anymore. You've got another energy in your energy field. They always come in, so you know this is I have to read the cards. This person is crying, okay, and I felt that very strongly. I believe that was yesterday or the day before. I could feel that so strong. If I allowed it, I would have cried too. So it's not just like a little few tears here and there. It's you know, on the floor type crying, okay. So they're grieving you. And then we've got the heartbreak card. This person's in the Ten of Swords, so I'd be very surprised if you're not thinking about this person more than you usually are, especially if this is a high-level soulmate or twin flame. This doesn't feel like the friendship energy, but of course they can overlap. It's a general reading, so put it where it fits. But essentially this person's in the blues, and they're in the blues and feeling this energy because you're standing your grounds. You not only stood your grounds in these situations here, but you also stand in your grounds because this person possibly, it might not have been like competitive, comparative energy, but they would certainly take an advantage of your kindness, and very happy for you to be in this sacrificial role, which you've given up. And now they recognize that they need to grow up. And they also recognize that you deserve better, which is under that deck. You were very, very patient with these energies and sacrificial, but you're not anymore. And if you need to, if you want sort of an indication of who this person is, they wear masks and they were highly into seduction, okay? They have a keen eye and a wandering eye, keen wandering eye. But this person's thinking about reaching out when I cut that deck. They do feel like they've got a few things to sort out before they do come to you, and I suspect it has to do with growing up. But essentially it is to stop your new beginning, okay? And I shuffled these cards and I didn't know that they were there. Butterflies upside down in second chance. They want to stop your new beginning, okay? And clip your wings. And that might, again, it might not be malicious, like they're like, let me stop her from growing. But if you do grow anymore, there's almost no chance of them getting in because your vibration will be just out of their range. Where at the moment I can still pull this spread because it's still at a place where they can reach it. I was inclined to say they could be doing magic to get in there because I do feel like your energy is very high. So, but of course that can't be for all of you. But if you know this person's into sort of mental magic, tricksy type things, there could be something like that going on, but you know, only take that if that fits. I'm going to go here. This person fears change, and maybe to a part, you know, maybe if this is a twin flame on some level, you did also. Proposal popping out. You know, you were scared. I don't know if scared's the right word. You know, do bear with me. When it came to putting boundaries and standing your grounds with these friendships, and again it can be community, work, whatever it may be that you felt were comparative and competitive, you didn't want to stand up to them because you didn't want the change. You didn't want to change the situation, even though it was hurting and it was sort of lowering your vibration and potentially your confidence, until spirit stepped in and your angel stepped in and you had no choice. I don't know if it's no choice, but that I feel like I sort of seen like a corridor and it was just getting thinner and thinner and thinner, and you know you had to stop that corridor getting any thinner before you get squashed. So it does sort of feel like you didn't have a choice, but it might be a bit extreme. Yeah, so essentially we're just around energies that were more than happy to use you to regulate themselves. You had a soft, sweet nature. This person also took advantage of this soft, sweet nature that you hold. I feel like the angels, you have an angelic there's something angelic about your nature, and possibly very forgiving, but you found closure here. We've got smile, you've won underneath this, and because you're dealing with people that are in that sort of competitive ego 3D, you know, game stuff, in their eyes you sort of have, because you've kind of, I feel like you've kind of played chess with them, and they, you know, they don't play chess, and you didn't know that you're a chess champion. Something like that's gone on here, and they're like, oh gosh. So in some ways, I'm inclined to say they feel like you're wearing a mask, because they did not see this coming. Okay, I don't think any of these energies saw this coming. And maybe if you were to ask yourself a handful of years ago, you didn't really see it coming, but I feel like your spirituality and your psychic energy was just ramping up so much that voice inside could no longer be silent, or you could no longer make it quiet. You had to listen to the guidance, and the guidance was to let go of energies that essentially don't really mean you very well. Whether it's malicious or not, it doesn't matter. The impact is the same. It's uncomfortable energy. Messages for the collective, please, Spirit, for the highest good of all. Yes, this person's very scared. I think some other energies in your energy are quite scared too. You've had a lot of impact here. You've created quite a lot of mental distress, and maybe this is part of the reason why you were almost not scared of change, but you were scared because you did sense that something like this may come as a consequence, and you would rather be the martyr and take all the swords that they were giving out than allow for those swords to be sort of ricocheted back onto them. But that's just how the universe works. It's, you know, it's divine balance, and you know, this is what it is. Messages for the collective, please, Spirit, in God's will. Yeah, so this person's in mental distress because they know that you're not looking at them as a romantic option. And we've got the apology card up here, and we've got the apology card here upside down. I think they know whether they apologise or not, don't apologise, you're still not really you're not viewing them as a romantic option. And again, if you're not tapping into something romantic, just translate it for what it is. You're not looking for anything concrete or solid with them, whether it's friendship, work, you know, whatever it might be. But we do have the X here. Anything else, Spirit, for the highest good of all in God's will to help the collective with their journey? Yes, I saw the star. You're healing from this sacrificial energy that you were in. It is part of your spiritual journey, to stand your ground in these situations. But I am seeing the star, so allow yourself to heal. And if you find yourself, you do fear the change of it sometimes, just do your best to embrace it. Know that Spirit's with you. The angels look after you here. They're sending you signs if it's not feathers. But you should be tapping into a bit more confidence than you usually have. I feel like there were times you were confident before this. But I feel like every time you sort of did gain a sort of blip of confidence, these people would squeeze it out of you or stamp it out of you. So I think that's the bit you're healing. I just saw a vision of a bucket. So they would say that, you know, that bucket is confidence, or, you know, self-esteem, or whatever you want to call it. They would be putting holes in it, and that's all being patched up. But you're still sort of maybe at times thinking, oh, when's the hole going to be punched into this bucket? It's obviously not the best analogy, but I have to go where Spirit tells me. Yeah, so these people weren't part of your destiny, and I think that's also why this person's going through mental distress, because I think they're very aware although they want a second chance, you've decided that well, not just you, Spirit and the angels, that you don't see them part of your destiny, especially as they are, which is they need to grow up, you know, they've got things to do. So this person spends a lot of time thinking about you, like staying awake at night thinking about you. I keep seeing the star. Okay, so you could be an Aquarius or dealing with an Aquarius, but it doesn't have to be. You're very much healing, and I think from this and this twin flame or high level soulmate situation. Yeah, so I think you're not looking for love at the moment, but obviously it's a general reading. You know, so just put that, take it if it fits. I think you might be spending a lot of alone time, and I think falling fast is upside down because you're not looking to fall in love at the moment or anything like that. You're happy to heal. You're happy to develop this relationship with your guides and angels, and I'm hearing be obedient to whatever that is. You might find it a bit difficult to relax, but you're learning. Yeah, twin flame upside down. You're really taking a break from this, and attraction's upside down. So I don't think you're attracted to this situation anymore just because of the healing that you had to do. I'm being brought back to that bucket. Perhaps they were also punching holes in it, and spirits heat. I don't know. There must be a nicer image than the bucket, but that's been healed. You know, there is no more holes in it, and I think you're just there, just keeping yourself to yourself. So just to make sure that's solid and concrete, and it's, I don't know, made of diamonds, so nobody can put holes in it or something. Or that's what spirit wants you to do. So it's so strong and sturdy that even if people tried, they've got no chance. Or perhaps you're already there. Messages for the collective, please, spirit, and God's will. Yeah, so this person loves you unconditionally. Got clown here. Perhaps they're a bit degrading to you. Another proposal card. Does this person like, yeah, they're having issues with their abundance, but it could very well be their well-being, because they did get Ten of Swords and crying. But it could be other things as well. But I think maybe this person, I feel like, has issues with, like enjoys humiliation. Like humiliating others, and maybe, I don't know, just enjoys that whole situation. Okay, so we've got 2 butterfly cards upside down. This person does not want you to fly away. And we've got 2 proposal cards. So I genuinely believe they don't want you to step into this new beginning with the divine and yourself, with this diamond shaped bucket holding all your confidence and future and dreams in there. They want to offer you the diamond, instead of you cultivating this. Spirit, there's got to be a nicer image than bucket. I don't. Yeah, beautiful diamond vase, that your vessel vase. Yeah, okay. So, and I don't think it's an accident that the 2 cards that we have out here is 2 proposal and 2 butterfly cards, which, if you were proposed to, essentially you can't fly away, can you? You've got to, you'll be trapped to a degree with them. But I don't know if trap's the right word, but that, I have to go where spirit's going. That's sort of where it would feel like right now. But that's just where their energy is. But I don't feel like you have much attraction for this situation. Not as a case of where, like, oh, I just don't find them attractive anymore. Although I have a feeling they may have done something like that to you. I think you just want better for yourself, and better just meaning a frequency that's working for you. Somebody that wouldn't humiliate you just because they're having a tough day, or that's how they operate, you know, that's how they've got by or something. Yeah, they're clinging and they want to come out of this anguish. Yeah, they were blind to you. But I think they possibly dismissed you, and it was because they were blind to you. They're not blind to you anymore. Yeah, they're consistently in the memory of you. Clinging, dwelling. And I think they think a lot about proposal. You know, like the next level of commitment with you. Like, if this is a male energy, it almost feels a bit feminine. Like they've got it all sorted out. You know, that's the kind of thing they're dreaming about, like the house you would live in, what it would look like. You know what I mean? I don't mean to assign gender roles there. But this energy, if it is male, there is a sort of feminine quality about it. But again, it doesn't have to be. Divine masculine, divine feminine doesn't, yeah, commitment. I don't really, they're having a reflection of themselves, and they're realizing how broken their reflection is. And if they were choosing the seductive, lustful energy over you, they're recognizing how wounded that really is and how unfulfilling it really is without your energy there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they've stopped dating, or, you know, they're not pursuing that. Like maybe spirit, yeah, exactly. Thank you, spirit, death. When I said that, that's over for them. It's not doing it. Maybe it was okay when you were in their energy field, because they had your divine energy, they were being filled up, but now they're not. So if anything, it might make them feel worse. I'm hearing like another reason why you wouldn't choose them, something like that. It's like they're trying to, exactly, side piece upside down, spirit, you're just so, you know, divine. That it's not doing it. In fact, they're concerned if they don't stop whatever it is, this kind. And again, it doesn't have to be this sort of sexual energy that I feel, and it does come through many readings. You know, it could just be lusting after something in the 3D world, money, status, something. But you know, it does feel like that. But just put it where it fits. But I'm sort of just very aware it's like they want to be good for you, because you're the one that provides them the ecstasy. But your heartstrings aren't really there anymore. I honestly feel like I can pull these spreads because it's their, you know, it's their energy. I mean, I definitely feel like you can feel this person because they're having such a hard time, but I don't really feel like I think you're happy and single, and I think you just view this as a karmic relationship, just something that you had to learn, and you learned the lessons, and you found your self-worth, and you see it as part of your spiritual journey to let go of things that were trying to put holes in your diamond bucket, vessel, vase. But yeah, they love you. I think you could love them too. We've got 2 unconditional cards out here of love. I think you do, but I think you cut this out because you don't need them next to you to love them. You gave it to God. And I'm hearing they can feel that you gave it to God. And God's not happy about how they've behaved. Yeah, so they see you as their 10 of Pentacles, but you're actually heading to your 10 of Pentacles. So you're heading to your success, whatever that looks like to you. And I think half of that success is actually being on your spiritual journey and realizing who belongs on your path and who doesn't. This person wants to come in with emotion now as a king. It could have something to do with the Pisces, because I've been seeing, I know we're in that season now, but it's been coming through, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. I'm not too, it's energy, so I'm not, yeah, they want to take a leap of faith with you and make you an offer, but it's because they're in this energy, 9 of Swords. They can't bear it, so they want to come in quickly. I'm inclined to say I feel sorry for them because they know you, they know where you're at, and they don't want you to be there. They know you're not waiting for union. You're soul searching. Yeah. I think you discovered things about this person that you're not particularly proud of, and it could have something to do with third party. Like, I'm not saying it was a deal breaker, but maybe it was just many deal breakers, and this was another one. You're just like, yeah, I'm going to start using my butterfly wings, and you know, yeah, I think they just were interested in lots of options and made you feel like an option. And maybe you had to just go through tower and tower with this person, you know, like you're just waiting for the next tower. And although it was spiritually, you know, the tower gets rid of everything that's needs to go. You know, I don't know, it's funny, I don't know why I'm getting this, but you know, like people are like, oh, you know, I've got to start from rock bottom, but rock bottom is a foundation, it's a start. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes that does need to happen so you can start building up on solid ground rather than sand, or a foundation that is not sturdy. But I feel like this person wanted to prevent the tower, but it happened anyway because you've left. And whatever they try to keep secret from you, you know. Tell me more, Spirit. Yeah, they it's their own fault, because they believed that you were soft and naive, and that you wouldn't, as well as these other energies, they just genuinely thought, you know, you're not going anywhere. So they played the game wrong. They played the chess game wrong. And you played it like a master in a way, because you weren't playing. That's the whole reason how you've won, if you know you want to call it that. And now you don't really. I don't think you're manifesting them. I think the Magician and the Six of Cups is upside down, because I mean, you may have moments, but I'm not really feeling that energy. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah, they recognise their foolishness now that it's over. You've stepped away from this energy. I mean, they're living in hope, and but I get the feeling like they're depressed, they're bored, and they're really crying. And sometimes they're in severe pain. But I wouldn't be surprised if you were once here and now they're going through this. You know, that, you know, what you give out does eventually come back in some form. Tell me more about this, please, Spirit. Oh, I mean, sometimes when I tap into these energies, oh. Do I say it? Yeah. I mean, you already know this. You had energies in your energy field, particularly this friendship community, maybe family, I'm not sure. But their hidden intentions was that they wanted you isolated, they wanted you defeated, and they wanted you to be making the wrong decisions. And that's exactly why you had to stand your ground with them, because I think you knew this somewhere inside. But Spirit's bringing it out. I'm not sure why. I guess it's confirmation for some of you. Maybe you need to be reminded this is the kind of level of energy that you were dealing with. Yeah, essentially selfish energies, but I do feel like a lot of it may not have been so malicious, you know, like they're just not as spiritual as you, so they don't know about their shadow or the angels, or you know what I mean, so they're working in 3D stuff, you know, they haven't got they thought you were stupid. It's quite harsh, isn't it? Whoever I'm tapping into today is very, very clever. Like, you might even be a chess champion. It's that kind of energy. You might as well be. Yeah, so you're not accepting any more emotional abuse. I'm hearing none. And I think even from yourself, I think you could be heading towards a soulmate after this healing time, but although I don't think you're looking for it, but I think Spirit might just just bring it into your path. Spirit wants you to know that the divine is within you, so do tap into that. But essentially these energies just didn't deserve to be in your energy, particularly if you're dealing with a Virgo, or you could be the Virgo. But you know, like, it's too late. This sort of feeling I get, like they only love you, they want to be the way they behaved. What would you, I mean, but they know, they're very aware, like, there's got a father out here, could have something to do with a father, or this person's a father or father figure. Yeah, you're a healer. But that's what these people are missing now. Perhaps they didn't recognise that your feel foolish has come out a few times. They didn't recognise that your energy was healing. They just maybe thought you were nice, and you went, oh, she's naive, I can say this, I can do that, I don't, and that makes me feel a little bit better. And they might not even been conscious, you know, they didn't recognise, like, playing these little ego games where it strokes their ego, like what they were really doing. But now you've gone, your energy is just like desolate. Like now they're like, oh, that's the feeling I get. And essentially you guided them to spirit. That's why it's part of your spiritual journey to stand up to energies that don't want the best for you. It's sort of like, it feels a little, it's not, I'm going to give the analogy, it feels a little bit cruel, but it's not, because it's like you gave them these lovely warm seats, cushions, everything, and it just got taken away from them and they're on the floor. And that wasn't to be like deceiving or anything like that. But it's like, I just get the feeling like they're wiping those feet on those seats and their muddy shoes and like all of that. And it's like, and now it's gone. I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't really look after, that space, did I, with that person, really? They weren't listening to their intuition, essentially. Okay, I better stop. Gosh. Anything else, Spirit, for the highest good of all in God's will? Yeah, I saw a new foundation. Your foundation flowing out again. You've got a new foundation. This person believes you'll be together again. They're seeing signs, you know. It's up to you. Yeah, I think you you don't have good feelings about that. Like, that's not how you're viewing it right now. This energy, at least, you're more comfortable with just focusing on yourself and your healing. Just, it does come out often. Just be mindful that this person, it may not be intentional, but I do feel like they could come in really heavy and hard, but it could end up feeling like a bit like a bluff, because once they've got you, they just become what they were before, and I'm hearing maybe even worse. So don't be fooled by a ring or, you know, something like that, like it's the answer. You can go and buy your own ring. Do you know what I mean? You don't need the ring. Like, don't be fooled by. And it's not a case where they definitely might be like, yeah, let me trap her and then make her life hell. It's just, you know, they live in a sort of mini hell and they can't really give you much else. Just be aware of that perspective. But if you are, you know, always listen to your own guides. Yeah, wisdom's upside down, because I think you might not use your wisdom entirely because you do love them. Yeah. But, you know, and if you're ever unsure, just take your time with things. You know, just don't, karmic relationships there. Okay, so I'll leave that there because I could go on forever. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your likes, your subscribes, and all those comments. And, you know, you watch for such a long time, a lot of you. Yeah, so thank you so much. And Archangel Michael, please look after myself. Please look after the collective. Please bless us and please protect us. So mote it be.